are digital twins redefining innovation in the healthcare industry? And what role does simulation play in accelerating medical device? I'm Asma, Senior Product Marketing Manager at Ansys, part of Synopsys, and you're watching the Twin Talks. To answer these questions, we are joined today by Dr. Mark Palmer, CTO for Healthcare, Lead Chief Technologist, and Ansys Fellow. Internally, he works across the core business units and functional teams to align the Ansys technology strategy with the innovation goals of customers and clinicians for the benefit of the patient. Mark, thanks for being part of the Twin Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Um, to start things off, can you tell us about your role and how your background connects to the work we are doing in digital engineering and digital twins, particularly for healthcare industry?
Sure. As long as I can remember, I've been intrigued by this question of how things work. And this curiosity started with things that were man-made, but then I was drawn into this question of how biology and the human body works. And that question went further, which is how can these things that look so different be operating according to the same natural laws, the same physics, the same chemistry, but they look so different. So this led me down this path of pursuing engineering and computational mechanics, as well as training as a clinician. So um, I've had a varied course as a professional, going from med school to a startup to being a professor, and then working in the medical device industry before joining Ansys. And here at Ansys, my role is to understand how our existing computational modeling technologies can be used to tackle these challenging problems in healthcare, but also to identify what future technologies we're going to need, what features need to be added to our modeling and simulation products that will allow us to better serve clinicians, better serve industry, the medical device companies, and the pharmaceutical manufacturers.
Mark, healthcare today is facing immense pressure. From your viewpoint, what are the most urgent challenges the industry is trying to solve, and where do you see technology making the biggest impact?
That's a tough question. The healthcare industry is facing a large number of challenges, and it's coming from many different directions. There's the rising cost of delivering care. There's the high variability in the care that is delivered. This variability can be even within the same country or the same region of a country. There's the shortage of people with the expertise necessary to deliver that care to the patient, shortages in doctors and nurses and medical technicians. And then there's also the need for better disease prevention, how to keep a population healthy so that you don't have to rely as much on those healthcare resources. And then even when we do deliver that care, there's the questions around, are we using things that are safe? Are we using high quality products to treat those patients? So all of these things are challenges for the healthcare system. But I think that all these challenges actually create an opportunity, and I'll go further than an opportunity, but to say that it is indicative of the need for medicine to modernize and to adopt technology, and to apply it across the ecosystem, from healthy people to managing people with disease.
Digital engineering has transformed how we design and validate complex systems in industries like aerospace and automotive. How is that same engineering rigor being applied to healthcare, and what opportunities does it open for medical device innovation?
That's another excellent question. So, digital engineering is this idea that computational techniques, including data-driven models like AI and machine learning, and causal and mechanistic models like computational modeling and simulation, those things will be used to drive design, development, manufacturing, and even the management of these complex systems after they've been put into use. On the healthcare side, uh, healthcare has been operating from this world of what's called real world evidence, where looking at how medicine is practiced, looking at the historical data, and then using it to transform or to drive clinical innovation. So this has been called evidence-based medicine. There's a large amount of data and information that is in the historic clinical record. But it's still this idea that the standard of care is applied to groups or people that fit into these categories of how the data has been divided. And now there's this tension of whether we can adopt strategies more driven along what's called personalized medicine. And is personalized medicine in opposition to this evidence-based medicine, or do they actually work together? So these digital engineering principles then really start to show their potential when we look at medicine from this personalized care perspective. So there's the opportunity to accelerate the innovation, accelerate understanding how a device or a drug interacts with an individual and not just a population. There's the opportunity to reduce the amount of physical testing. And in the clinical world, this means testing on animals and humans. There's the opportunity to reduce the reliance on the animal side, because that has its own complexities with whether the things that you would do with an animal actually map to how a human person will respond. So as we apply these digital engineering principles to understanding the human body, and we're able to capture that knowledge in these data models and in these causal or mechanistic models, it then helps us to be able to have better predictive power regarding how we make clinical decisions and how we develop products and how we apply these products or these therapies to individuals and not just at the population scale.
Digital twins are generating real excitement in healthcare. Where do you see the most immediate value? And what's your vision for how digital twins will reshape the healthcare ecosystem in the next decade?
Yeah, so digital twins is a controversial topic in medicine. Some people say that we'll never be able to create a digital twin of the body, and others say we're already doing that. So I'm in that latter camp. So I do agree that biology is incredibly complex, and creating a digital twin that has all of the body accurately represented inside it at an individual level is a very daunting task. But where we are successful in applying digital twin in medicine is when we can identify those key problems or challenges that we're trying to tackle and focus the digital twin activity around that particular area. So if the patient has a problem with their heart, they may not need a digital twin that also includes the brain or their musculoskeletal system in order to treat that part of the body. So a digital twin that's focused in on the heart for that individual would be able to deliver value to the patient. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be good enough to help guide the direction of treating that patient and improving their health. Some concrete examples of digital twin include things like closed loop glucose monitoring, where the algorithm for the controller actually learns about how an individual manages their glucose inside their body, how they after a meal, how fast do they consume, how fast do they burn it, which types of nutrients causes spikes and which ones kind of keep things level. Like the closed loop glucose monitoring system learns that at an individual level and provides that feedback. It knows nothing about your heart. It knows nothing about your brain. It knows nothing about your musculoskeletal system. But it's this closed loop system that's the digital twin for that individual that's tuned to the particular challenge that needs to be addressed.
Mark, if you had to fast forward to 2035, what do you
Mhm.
hope will be possible with digital twins in healthcare that feels just out of reach today? And what steps do we need to take now to make that future a reality?
So I'm a visual learner, and I hope this doesn't conjure like too negative of an image. But when I think about that question of moving towards 2035 and the potential for digital twins in healthcare and technology in healthcare, I have that saying about how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. So biology is really complex. That does not mean that it cannot be modeled, and it doesn't mean that having partial models are useless, like we've just discussed. Um, I believe that we're moving towards a future, and we've made progress towards a future where an individual's health can be profoundly impacted by technology, even with the application of very basic models. And digital engineering and digital twins, especially for people with chronic diseases or acute illnesses, I think are easier to build because they focus on these very high priority questions, like we talked about, the not being able to do the whole body at a time, but being able um, to to apply technology to the most acute question at hand. I think that as we move towards applying these technologies to healthy individuals, it will become more challenging. This question of how to keep people healthy for longer. Um, as we've talked about, the body is very complex. It has many control systems. There are many things going on that's trying to keep the person in a certain state of health. And more of those things come into play when the individual is healthy, but when they have a chronic disease or an acute health condition, then there's only a few things that you need to really focus on. So those acute problems make it easier um, to apply technology. Keeping healthy people healthy, I think, is more of a challenging problem. So as we look towards 2035, my dream is to have every individual be able to carry around a digital twin that represents them. But to get to that future, no part of the ecosystem can do it by itself. We need to have the right partners. We need to have the ubiquitous compute power. We need to have the right combinations and right types and styles of models. And we also need to have the right type of health monitoring and health sensors so that every individual will be able to see and understand what's happening in their body and on a daily basis make the right choices about their sleep, their diet, their exercise, and about the discussions that they're having with their healthcare providers. So I believe that future is attainable. I feel like our pace at which we're achieving that goal is accelerating, and I'm looking forward to 2035.
Mark Palmer, thanks for being part of this Twin Talk.
Thank you.